I guess I'm still doing this. Thank God. It's a good thing. Um, I feel like I've kind of wallowed a lot here about my not wanting the seasons to change and not being ready. And in the past couple of days, I started doing yard work, and all of a sudden, I'm okay with it. It's also a lot warmer, and it's like, I mean, it kind of feels like spring has passed. So I don't know how to get myself into a place of being able to engage with. I think actually starting planting and working on like growing would be a very good way for me to be able to kind of walk with the changing season and embrace it a little bit more. But yeah, so I started doing that and now I feel a lot better. I spent a summer when I was younger working building community gardens and like educational programs for growing and stuff. And it was one of the best summers of my life. I think that there's something so powerful about spending time in dirt and getting out of yourself and kind of spending time with the environment around you. That, yeah, is really therapeutic. And that was a great summer. And I hope I can keep kind of cultivating what I have at our house because I'm enjoying it a lot. And I feel like I'm coming from, so I worked this morning, kind of like in the earlier morning, and I feel very rejuvenated in the same way that my winter walk rejuvenated me. So I feel like that winter walk is now going to be replaced by outdoor yard gardening work. And once in a while, maybe I'll do the walk around the park and stuff, but this is feeling much better. So I think that's going to be my replacement for the time being. And then we'll see as things change what it looks like. We'll kind of revisit that. I also feel like there's a lot more to do now, and I'm so behind. If I had started sooner, it would look different. But there's so much to do now. When it's more fecund, it will be less work. I taught last night at the studio that I used to teach at voice with previous students. That was really, it's really good. It's been a long time since I've seen those students, and there is part of me that feels kind of some weirdness because I feel like I kind of let them down or abandon them, but they have a good teacher who is engaged in there, so I can't feel too bad about it, I think. I've been doing a lot this week to kind of empty myself, if that makes sense. I feel like this came out of a place of needing to, well, first of all, needing to record myself and watch it back, or at least have it be captured so that I could see it again, kind of like become more comfortable with that, and just needing more of a place to think and communicate ideas and that I have more control over in directing. It's a pretty big creative outlet. I feel like I've been focusing on my creative outlets this week in what feels like a pretty healthy and positive way. And so I don't have as much to put forward. And I'm trying to think about some of the other stuff that I mentioned or that I would want to talk about. So what I can do, I have this deck of cards. I'm going to take a moment of acknowledging my nails and how crazy they are, and that's fine. I'm doing something with my nails where I'm letting them grow out and be natural, and I haven't even gotten them removed. These just like came off, which was an interesting experience. I don't think that's happened before. Anyway, this is not a tarot deck. This is a reflection meditation deck that I saw in a store, and I really liked it. I don't love that I think this is the Eye of Horus. I don't love that it's like the Egyptian Eye of Horus necessarily on the front. It wouldn't be the eye that I would choose or how I would choose to go about it. I think it's too specifically rooted in Egyptian symbolism, Egyptian roots. I'm not as into that, but separate from that one component of this, I really like that it's called Sacred Symbols. I think that when we're doing work with tarot decks and when we're doing any sort of psychological exploration, thinking about Carl Jung, there's so much about symbols and the importance of working with symbols and using that as a tool for reflection. And it's the standard tarot deck, which I have here. The standard tarot deck is a collection of symbols and, you know, different meanings and archetypes. So I think, you know, some people might feel that they're divining the future. Some people might feel that there's some sort of divination in a card deck like this. I don't feel comfortable feeling that way. I feel like I could find symbols in something else other than a deck of cards, but this is like a consolidated place where good archetypes for navigating our internal worlds are all collected. So if I pull one card, I don't really use this deck, so I think that's another good thing. I don't have a strong connection to this deck. I don't really care about it very much. I don't even remember why I got it. Oh, I do remember why I got it. And that's a story for another time. It was for a specific purpose. But anyway, all right, so my card is the Seven of Wands, which I guess isn't as good of a, maybe it's not as great of an example, but yeah, so you have the number 7, you have the symbol of the wand, and you have how this fits into the larger schema of the deck, which I think is interesting, so maybe I'll reflect on that. This deck is, again, I was kind of giving some critique, but it's called the Sacred Symbols Oracle. It's by Marcella Kroll, who seems like a pretty badass lady, from what I can tell. Some backstory to this is that I really want to create a deck of my own. So that's kind of something I have in the background that I've been thinking about and working on. And I feel like I have a right to do that because anybody does. But I also feel like you don't have to be an expert in tarot to create a powerful deck. And you don't have to consider yourself a spiritual medium to create a deck. It's just another form of bringing ideas together and communicating a message for others to consume. And it brings together a lot of different creative mediums into one that I think is really interesting. So anyway, yeah, I kind of want to create a deck of my own. I'm going to pull maybe a couple of cards from hers because then you can kind of see what they are and why I think it was interesting enough to buy it. I don't think you have to shuffle this. I don't think you have to cut the deck. I'm probably going to cut the deck. And the card I pulled to start is Magic. I don't really love the visual to go along with that. I think that's a Pentecost. I'll have to look into that. I can read her description too, but yeah, that's an example of a symbol. I think this is a little confusing because there's the symbol that's there and then there's the word, and so you're kind of working out those things. So let's see what she has to say about it. Oh, and we're at time. Symbol, pentacle, yeah. Did I say a Pentecost? Pentacle, whatever. This is a Wiccan symbol, amulet, and talisman, often symbolizing the element of earth. It is used for invocation and represents the ability to bring spirit to earth. Nice. So that's one. And then we could do like a 3-card. So I'm just going to randomly pick a card from this. Protection. And air. Oh, this feels really special. I don't think I've ever used this deck and walked away with something negative. I don't think I've ever walked away with a negative cast or a negative reading from it. I don't think I've ever walked away feeling less empowered, or like there's some sort of ominous forecasting from it, which tarot at its best, you shouldn't feel that way either. You should feel encouraged and uplifted. I've made the mistake of reading for people close to me, which I don't think we should really do. I mean, maybe once in a while it's okay, but I don't really think we should do that, because it's hard to, when you're invested in the reading that you're giving to another person, it's hard to surrender really to the message that's there. But yeah, I think this is really beautiful and interesting, and I'm going to be using this as a reflection today. And I'm over time. So talk to you next time.